It's a very beautiful Saturday morning and you're welcome to HotSports. We thank you very much for joining us. I'm smiling because this week saw a worldwide challenge called the 10 Years Challenge. And the gentlemen are in the studios and I'm just looking at Leye right now. And I remember Leye's 10 Years Challenge. It was a very, very interesting photo. Leye, where in God's name were you at 10 years ago in that picture?
I actually took that picture in church after one of our mass there in church.
Yeah.
So thank God for life.
Absolutely.
It was me, in that, young, baby look. I still have it though, but of course, I think it was a global trend because of the weekend. We saw players, basketball players, football players, bringing us back to how they actually started. And it shows we should always thank God in every situation we find ourselves.
Absolutely. And good to have you on the show.
Yeah,
I saw your own 10 years challenge as well.
Yeah.
You were not always this big anyways. What happened to you? You're eating money.
It's normal. It happens every time. The way when you want the next 10 years, the way I'll be will be different.
Absolutely.
So it's normal.
Absolutely.
It was a very nice challenge. Just as some people's 10 years challenge look like they had challenge.
Are you trying to show shade to some people?
No, I'm not saying, because when I saw some people, I was like, we thank God anyways.
Yeah, we do thank God. I mean, it's amazing, really. I'm sure you guys participated well in the challenge, but one challenge that we have right here for you is that we have no challenge, because it's going to be an amazing show for you to savor this beautiful Saturday morning. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, the matters are on the burner.
It's been 6 days of fairy tales, upsets and freaks in Melbourne since the Aussie Open struck off on the hard courts of the Melbourne Park last Monday. As we anticipate the finals next weekend, we'll bring you a sneak review of some of the major high points of the first Grand Slam of the season in the last few days. Upsets in major tournaments is a common trend. Sometimes, the top-seeded stars bow out early, as it happened with the women's title race at Wimbledon last season. The Australian Open is not a different story, as former French Open champion Jelena Ostapenko joined two other women-seeded players to bid farewell to Australia on day one. Since winning the French Open in 2017, Ostapenko's stability rate has been dwindling, especially from last season when she got knocked out of a major competition. In the men's arena, one of the major bombshells of the opening day was the defeat of 9th-seeded John Isner by fellow American Relly Opelka in a sporadic 4-set tie-break duel that lasted for nearly 3 hours, with 87 bombing aces from the powerful serving duo. The rave of the moment in the opening week of the Australian Open was 20-year-old US player Frances Tiafoe, who fired a salvo for the next generation with the upset of 5th-seeded Kelvin Anderson. Spoiled by the excitement of playing double together with Serena Williams at the Hopman Cup earlier in the month, Tiafoe, whose parents immigrated to the US from Sierra Leone, confessed that spending time with the 23-time Grand Slam winner, Williams, helped him gain confidence for the major tasks ahead of his career this season. The list of players sidelined so far would not be complete without the great Andy Murray, who tried to resurface again after a long sojourn in the dark end of global tennis. A first-round loss at the Australian Open was like a bitter pill to swallow for the former number one, who was strongly contemplating a potential career-ending surgery as a solution to his nagging injury problems, rather than playing in for one more match at Wimbledon, where he is a 2-time champion. On the positive side, it's been a jolly sweet ride so far for the big favourites. Current world number one, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer are having a swell time, while Serena Williams once again set her eyes on the prize and the opportunity to make history with a chance of making it Grand Slam title number 24. A record she has been trying to achieve since her return to active tennis early last season after maternity. Serena also wants to become the first nursing mother to win a Grand Slam title in tennis. All the packages of expectation is like a desirable tonic that can spur the American Amazon to produce the desired results in Australia. No doubt, the 107th edition of the Australian Open, the 51st in the Open era, and the first Grand Slam of the year, has again ushered in another season of endless drama and excitement in the world of tennis. The Australian Open prize pot has been increased by 10% to $55 million for this year's edition, which includes the return of some of the men's big-name players. The men's and women's winner will pocket a $4 million check, which is up from $2.46 million in 2017 and 2018.
And we talk football now, and it's January transfer window, and it's synonymous with a lot of movement. And speaking of movement, this man has been moving consistently from Napoli to Juventus, from Juventus for AC Milan, now AC Milan to Chelsea. The story of Gonzalo Higuain, a man looking for, should I say, peace of mind or probably regular football place.
A man at the twilight of his career at the moment, and from Sarri, the coach of Chelsea, he felt that at this point in time he needs a certain Higuain who, when he was at Napoli, scored about 34 in 35 games for Napoli. So he feels at this time when he has issues at Chelsea, most especially with his striking force, Higuain is one player that has readily come to his mind, and selling this deal, hopefully it will become one of a good deal for Chelsea, knowing for that Higuain doesn't have so much Odion inside. Though it's a loan deal, but we get to see how he will actually bring his word of experience to Chelsea. We know Higuain to be one player that does miss a lot of chances, but going by the records, he has with Napoli under Mauricio Sarri, you might want to think maybe you could replicate that kind of form there at Chelsea.
For a fact, we can tell you that for the very best of information as regards this and more, please log on to www.hotsporttv.com. We'll talk about some friendly games now for the Super Falcons and the Flying Eagles, who will be partaking at the AFCON in Niger, the under-20 AFCON that's happening in Niger, as well as a female FIFA women's tournament happening in France. Well, for the Super Falcons, later during the course of the week, they lost to an invitational game to China, 3-0. But this is preparation. This is friendly. The idea is to make sure things are in perfect shape for France.
I think it's a litmus test for the Mozenebe-led Super Falcons side. The team is not currently with Oshuala as well as Okpara Nozie, so it's a chance for the coach to actually make do with other players that are available for the national team. Yes, they lost, but it's preparatory, and of course, when you get this kind of games and play against top teams, it gives you an insight of what to actually expect at the major tournament like the World Cup that will be staged earlier and later this year in France. So we get to see how they will actually perform against all other teams, but not a good one they lost, but of course they can actually pick some few positives from the game.
All right, this particular weekend we'll see a huge boxing matchup happening between Manny Pacquiao and Adrian Broner, and that one will be for the WBA World Welterweight title. And remember that this year is the 70th pro fight for Manny Pacquiao. Well, on the other side of this break is Bolatito Yenei, who is in the studio with me for Inside Boxing here on HotSports. Stick around. And we are back. This is Inside Boxing. It's time to talk some news in terms of boxing. And I've got my man, Bolatito Yenei. Maybe we should exchange gloves someday in the box. I don't want to. Don't worry. I don't want it.
We can try.
All right. So earlier in the year, we saw Caleb Plant usurping Ospategi,
Yes.
and that was a huge fight, given the circumstances that Plant found himself.
Yes. It was. This was, I believe, Plant's first major test in boxing, and from the, like you said, the circumstances he was fighting on that. Like, unfortunately for Plant, he lost his daughter a few years back due to pneumonia. So this was very emotional for him. And even the pundits they said that they also brought that up at the beginning of the fight. But fortunately for him, he was able to show his mettle and win his first world title, the IBF Super Middleweight Championship. And he dedicated it to his daughter, so it was very touching. And he also proposed to his girlfriend on the night, so it was a very emotional night for him.
Well, that was big, and congratulations to Caleb Plant. And this one also is even bigger. It's the fight for the WBA World welterweight title
Yes.
that's going to happen between Manny Pacquiao and Adrian Broner. And
yes,
a lot has been said about this fight, especially with the fact that Adrian Broner is a talker. But then again, you have a feeling that as much as he talks, Polatito, you feel he has what it takes to back it up, especially against Manny Pacquiao.
Yes, I strongly believe so. The thing with Adrian Broner is because he's a talker, so people tend to scrutinize him more. But a lot of people tend to forget that Adrian Broner he's a 4-division world champion. He's a 4-division world champion. There are only 16 people in history to be 4-division world champions and above, and he's also the second youngest person to do that in history. But then unfortunately for him, as he moved up in weight class, he has seemed to struggle, which is expected. But then he might talk a lot, but then let's still give him his credit. He's a 4-division world champion, second youngest to do so, and he's still only 28 years old.
Absolutely.
So and he has the skills to defeat a Manny Pacquiao, especially an older Manny Pacquiao. So it's not, even if Manny Pacquiao wins, I don't see it being a blowout win. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough fight for him as well.
I will talk about Manny shortly, but the records of Adrian Broner is quite interesting. 33 fights, 3-1, and 24 KOs, and it's just 28, just like you said. All right, so you talked about Manny's prowess, but hey, Manny Pacquiao these days is not the 31-year-old Manny. Manny is 40 these days, and 60 fights, 7-2, and this will be his 70th pro fight. It's unbelievable, Tito, that somebody would fight 69 times. And at this point, we also hear that he's a senator back home, and at the moment as well, he's doing a lot of reading. He said he's sharp. He said he doesn't even feel old at all.
Pacquiao he's different from your average ordinary boxer. I do believe he still has a level of sharpness because he was able to stop his last opponent, Lucas Matisse, even though that was his first knockout win in 9 years. So I do believe that he has. I think he's still sharp. I feel like he still poses problems for a lot of the younger fighters, and almost any other fighter in the welterweight division. But I don't think he's the same Pacquiao that he was even just 3 years ago. You know, he's a 40-year-old man. It takes his toll. Exactly. 69 fights.
Exactly. So now let's talk about that age factor and the conditioning, the stamina level, the reflex and sharpness. Who do you call this for, Swito?
In terms of
winning this particular fight, who is winning this fight for you?
It's a very tough one to call because with Adrian Broner, you never really know. Even the fights that he's lost, he's shown in sports that he's a fighter and he has heart. But a problem that Broner has is that he fights in sports. He will take some time off, and then he will rally in some rounds, and sometimes in his fights it looks like he's not doing anything.
He's just moving around.
And Pacquiao is someone that brings the pressure, it brings the heat consistently.
All 12.
Yeah. But then it's really a tough one to call. It depends on which Adrian Broner shows up on that night.
But exactly, but you got to call this one now. So regardless of Adrian Broner that shows up, who's going to win this?
I believe that Pacquiao could potentially win a tough decision over Broner.
I actually think Manny would actually win. I think Manny would win. I mean, for the sake of folklore and fairy tale and that feel-good feeling, a 40-year-old man
Manny could potentially. I feel like it's going to be a tough decision. I don't see Manny Pacquiao stopping Broner at all. Broner has a really good chin. Pacquiao has had one knockout win in 9 years. And Broner has shown that he can take a good punch against Maidana and the likes, against Mikey Garcia even. So, you know, I see a tough decision for Pacquiao and a possible upset win for Broner.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to how that will definitely pan out. Remember, you can follow everything that's happening, in Nevada, Las Vegas on www.hotsportstv.com. And that is the lot we can take at this time in Inside Boxing. Remember that this year is where we talk about everything in terms of boxing. And sadly, I'm not going to get my hands stained. So maybe another time we'll have that boxing back. But thank you very much, Abalatito, for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we're done and dusted with Inside Boxing. The show HotSports continues right after this.
Super Eagles players were involved in action for their various clubs across Europe over the weekend. In England, Alexi Iwobi played full-time as Arsenal suffered a 1-0 loss to West Ham United at the London Stadium. Super Eagles defender Leon Balogun was an unused substitute as visiting Liverpool defeated Brighton and Hove Albion at the Amex Stadium. Isaac's success sat through the bench as Watford was defeated 2-1 by Crystal Palace at the Selhurst Stadium. At the King Power Stadium, Leicester City's Wilfred Ndidi's goal was not enough to salvage a point for the Foxes as Southampton ran away with a 2-1 victory. Compatriot Kelechi Iheanacho, however, was an unused substitute in the game. In the English Championship, Ogene Karo Etebo came in as a substitute in Stoke City's 3-1 loss to Brentford, while Shemi Ajayi played the full game in Rotherham United's 1-0 loss to Ipswich Town. In Spain, defender Kenneth Omero was in action for start to end as Leganés defeated visiting Huesca 1-0 to move up to 12th place in the league. Samuel Chukwueze played for just 57 minutes for Villarreal as the Yellow Submarines suffered a 2-1 loss at home to visiting Getafe. Super Eagles' first-choice goalkeeper Francis Uzoho was consigned to the bench in Elche's 1-0 victory over Gymnastics. In the French Ligue 1, Super Eagles forward Samuel Kalu played full-time as Nice beat Bordeaux by a lone goal to halt Bordeaux's 6 games unbeaten run. In Italy, Ola Aina played 89 minutes as Fiorentina defeated Torino 2-0 to send them packing from the Coppa Italian Cup.
The transfer window in January is always lit with speculations and rumors, and sometimes some of these rumors eventually become true. But for us here today, on the main issue of HotSports, we're asking, is Odion Ighalo, is it good enough for FC Barcelona? Remember that during the course of this season, Monir El Haddadi fell in different ways with Barcelona, saying he's not really interested in continuing his contract, and then as well as Denis Suarez also not really pushing quite well, leaving them with the only centre forward, a senior centre forward, to be Luis Suarez. At this time, Barcelona are looking to shop for another centre forward just to lessen the burden from Luis Suarez. So the gentlemen are in the studios and they are saying, we are asking, is Odion Ighalo good enough for FC Barcelona?
I think for me, for Odion Ighalo, it's got the right mentality to be a Barcelona player, especially where they think he's one player that could be more like a reserve player to the strikers in the team.
My statement is simple. Ighalo has no place in Barcelona, and I don't know why we are going to talk about this, but okay.
And you know, doesn't not even want to have it as if Ighalo is a Barcelona quality. But what do you think? There's a number on your screen to send us a text message to. We're looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Let's go to the other side where we'll be having the argument proper. And you can see that Leia is really making a case for Ighalo. He thinks strongly that he's a Barcelona quality. But you know, you've been looking at him when he was talking.
Yeah, because I don't know why what he's saying. He said like Leia said Ighalo played in Spain, then he went to China, then he went to Watford, and England. Yeah, but the thing we're talking about, the players who have left Barcelona, the strikers quality we're talking about. You're talking about Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You're talking about David Villa. You're talking about Pedro. Ighalo is not
in that league.
He's not even, let me not say it, but he's not like 50% close to that league. You're talking about those quality players that could have not been second, could have not been. First of all, that's why I said, that's why before we had this argument, I spoke about fictional speculation. These are pure fictional speculations. Because if it's not confirmed by anybody, there has been no source to confirm
that it was linked.
See, link is different.
See, what you say, you say you don't like Odion Ighalo as a player, not saying that being linked to Barcelona.
What we are arguing about let's forget all that. Now we're talking about quality. Let's look at quality. Now you have Villarreal, you have Sevilla, you have Atletico Madrid, you have Getafe. These are quality teams. Now, Odion Ighalo will not make their top striker in these teams. Before I even go to Barcelona, last season, no, it's not a bit harsh. See, Atletico Madrid, for example, Simeone got Nicola Gaitan from Benfica, one of like the most important wingers in Portuguese league. That guy didn't last 3 months or 4 months. Remember, I said Jackson Martinez. that went to Atletico Madrid. See, the quality of football being played in Spain is not what you are watching in La Liga, because you keep saying he was in Granada.
He made his mark in Granada.
Granada was a team that got promoted. See,
it's
just like you're saying a player from Valladolid.
Before moving to Watford,
you just say a striker from Valladolid should make.
Right now, no,
listen to what I'm saying.
His CV is
we're not talking about radar. We're not talking about radar. We're talking about quality.
So
see, forget radar. We're talking about quality. No, we're talking about quality, and he's saying radar. This is not radar. I keep telling you, Oliver Giroud can be linked to Real Madrid. That's a different story. But we all know he's not Real Madrid quality. Some people say he has won the World Cup.
Eventually, if he comes, are you the coach? Will you be the coach of Barcelona?
This is not about coach of Barcelona. No, this is not about coach. About Barcelona, what we're talking about is quality. We're talking about quality.
Guys, let me ask you this: you're gonna latch on to this one.
I think at this point we need to look at it from the perspective of wants and needs. For Barcelona at this moment, they want Ighalo. It's not as if they need him on the long run. Meaning that at this point in time, his value or whatever essence is coming to make do at the club will surely make do. He's not coming as a main number now, as a starting player, but he's there to be a makeshift player in case there are issues with injury, or if a player like Luis Suarez who might be needing a rest. So looking at the array of CV he's got, playing at different times of his career in Spain and other parts of the world, you might want to feel for Odion Ighalo being linked with Barcelona at this point in time is sure a great deal. And I think for me, a lot of us, we don't actually support our own because it's Ighalo or being linked to Barcelona. How did he do it? That's just the mindset. But of course, this guy has done so much. Last year, he scored about 24, 25 goals in his Chinese league. So right now, if he's being tabled as part of the players that might eventually, it means he's got something on his sleeves.
All right, I'm sure if I thought this particular argument can get up to 2 hours, I'm sure these gentlemen will still not have enough of themselves because they've been going hammer and thongs. But that's the kind of emotions this particular topic can bring out from these two gentlemen who have diverse views. But of course, I'm still going to be here for the final whistle. But then again, we're looking forward to your own thoughts. It's the number on your screen. That's the platform by which we can hear you and hear you talk to us from wherever you are. Please do well to also go to our social media platform at HotSport NG, as well as www.hotsporttv.com. When I return from this break, it's time for the final whistle and, of course, our own bye-bye. And it's quite interesting what happens behind the camera. But one thing we'll definitely do right now is our final whistle. I want to lean slightly to Leah's angle that says that Ighalo may not be the answer to the final striking problems, if at all Barcelona has any. It could just probably come in to be like a makeshift or probably to ease the tension of Luis Suarez. Thus, the link. But slightly as well to Ahino, who feels Ighalo is in by no means a quality of player that Barcelona will be interested in. And if you look at the kind of striker that have actually come to Barcelona in recent times, you'd agree slightly with Ahino, as well as sometimes it's perception. You'd agree as well with Leia. But what is your thought? It is your own thought that I want to agree to. So how about you send in your thoughts via the text message platform and on social media? Guys, that's the loss we can take. And remember that we got what now? English Premiership games are happening today and, of course, tomorrow. Quite interesting. So please do well to enjoy that as well. And the Nigerian Professional Football League as well. I've got games this weekend. Do well to attend to a match center near you. As we leave the studio, gentlemen, your final thoughts? Leia?
I want to wish out my friend Agbega Sparkles happy married life. He's tying the knots today in Lagos. Wishing the very best for the future. And hopefully I might join him on the other side as well.
Other side, but you getting married soon too?
Only time will tell, bro.
Oh, definitely. All right. This is the first time Leia is talking about going to a wedding ceremony.
Well,
I'm excited for you, really, man.
Hopefully next 10 years challenge.
This is 2019, you know. So
anything can happen.
Absolutely. 2029.
And you know, you're not dressed as if you're going for any wedding anyway.
Nah, today is chilling.
It's chilling
day. Football all day, talk football, talk sports, you know.
All right, so all chilled for you know, all chilled for me.
I have a big shout out to David though behind the camera.
Yeah, big shout out, guys.
Big shout out to
yeah, we must say good news to all the guys behind the camera that you guys do not get to see. They make us look good on air, but then the real champs are them, and of course you watching at home. Thank you very much for joining us. We're looking forward to having you join us again next week Saturday. Till then, bye for now.